Hey everybody, thanks for coming along for another drawing adventure here this week, starting it off on Wednesday, and we're going to do this on Thursday and Friday as well. I hope you are all doing well with these strange times we're living through right now. I'm sure that a lot of you are watching movies at home because it's a great time to get together with the family, friends, watch movies. Movies are fun. If you're watching some of the Star Wars movies, I've got an interesting fact for you. The Emperor in Star Wars actually drew straighter lines than anybody else in the Star Wars universe. Because after all, he was the supreme ruler. Why don't we do some drawing? So grab yourself a pencil, a marker, a pen, a stick, and we can get right to it. This is a draw along, so you are going to draw one step at a time with me. I'll draw a line, you draw a line. After we do a draw along, we're going to have the doodle game. In the doodle game, if you've seen it before, I show you some lines on the paper, and you say to me in the chat what you think it might be, and then I have to draw it really fast, okay? We'll close things off with a little art tip for everybody. So here we go. We're going to get started right now. Are you ready? First thing we're going to do is a sort of a C curve. And it's going to go a little something like that. That is a shallow one, right? That's not one of these. Okay, it's a shallow C curve. All right, that's how we're going to kick it off today. Next, we're going to have a little bit of a diagonal line coming down this way. And then, like we often do, we'll bounce over to the other side and do the same. Here we go, just like that. And everybody with me so far? Here we go. We're going to connect them. Connect those lines. And there we have our first shape. If you have any guesses about what this might be, go ahead in the chat and tell me what you think it could be, because I know it's a little early, but sometimes people are really sharp and they get these, which is impressive. All right, next step. I'm going to do a little line up from this corner. Watch carefully. It's a short one. See that? That's all there is to it. Same on this side. Little one like that. All right. Now here comes a different kind of a move. This one's going to be a little longer, and you're going to go slowly. Ready? We're going to go up and then curve up to there. Same on this side. We go up and then curve up to there. Like I always say, if you're having trouble making that line work with one pass, go ahead and pick up your pencil or your pen and then continue drawing the line. You don't have to draw it all in one go. That doesn't matter. And like I always say, your drawings are going to look a little different from mine, and that's totally fine because it's still going to look like the thing we're drawing at the end. It's your drawing. It's going to look great. Don't worry about it. All right, next step. We're going to go up and connect. All right, I'll get a little bigger so you can see that. We went up, around, and then connected. Now for this other side, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go up and connect. So here we go, up and connect. All righty. Next, right where you started that line, I want you to do this. You're going to come down and connect. And then down and connect. So are we all on the same page? Let me check the chat here. Let's see. Cow says, well, that can't be Tim Winger. I bet that's Marin. A cow. Interesting guess. All right. Next step. This is going to give it all away. And you'll say, I think I know immediately what that is. We're going to go down and out. And then a little tiny V. See that? 1 and a 2. And then back, up, and in. All right, I think I just gave it away. Now, inside here, watch this. Circle, or like an oval, right? Oval. With a line down and up. Down and up, and you can just color that in if you want, like so. Alrighty, I think I just gave it all away. We know what we're doing, don't we? Okay, now, this curve that we started out drawing, I want you to continue that curve out to about there. Do the same thing on this side. I'm going to continue it and stop. Doesn't matter if they're perfectly the same. Totally not important. Okay? Now I'm going to come down the other way. Watch this. I'm going to break it down like that. It's like an S curve, okay? And you want to stop right about where this is. And here's a trick you can use, which I've shown you before. Here, let me just go back a step so you can see this. Remember how sometimes we make a little dot for ourselves on the page? Well, look, I see this here, this little area where this first line is meeting this most recent line we drew. And I'm going to come down, and I'm just going to make a little dot for myself. Now I have something to aim for. So when I do my S curve, I say, okay, I'm going to do an S curve, and I'm going to stop right there. So we're going to go down and stop. Gives me something to aim for, and that always helps, right? Same on this side. I'm going to come down, and I'm going to say, all right, let me just make a little dot. Now I have something to aim for. S curve. Okay. Let's see. Serpent, snake, cobra, cobra. Bingo. This is a king cobra, the dreaded king cobra. Alrighty. Now that we're at this spot, all we have to do is taper this down like this and here, and do the same here. We go taper down, 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 and there. Okay. And now from this side, I'm just going to carry this straight on up to here. Okay, so watch. I'm going to go up. I'm going to pick up for a second because it helps me to reposition my hand, and then come up again to there. Go up. If I have to pick up, no problem. Pick up, reposition my hand, and keep on going. Alrighty. Now, the reason we're doing this drawing is I wanted to talk to you all about pattern and how fun it is to add pattern to a drawing. So while the snake is a pretty simple thing, we're going to add a lot of pattern to it. All right. So next, you're going to draw a straight line right across here, just like this. Straight line like that. All righty. And then you're going to do another line underneath it, but that line will not be quite as wide. So look, I could start here, make myself a little dot, and say, I think I'll end there. So there we go. So that's 2. And we're going to do 2 more of these, all right? So I'm going to do another one here. I say, okay, about the same distance. I think I'll put it here and there. And then I'll draw across like that. And then I got one more to go. So I think I'll put it here and there. See how much easier it is when you give yourselves a little dot to draw with? I think that makes a big difference, and it really helps. Okay. Now the easy part, we're going to bump our way down from line to line. Here comes a bump, bump. Here comes a bump, bump. And here comes a bump, bump. And on the other side, a bump and a bump and a bump. That's not too difficult, right? All right. Now here comes the pattern. So we've got the basic shape of our snake here, right? But now we're going to add all the pattern. And so you're going to start with the basket pattern. And the way I like to do this is I'm just going to do the same kind of a C curve that I have here and just carry it straight across. I'm going to go like this. Space it out and draw it across like that. Couldn't be easier, right? Same thing on the next row, except I'm just going to stagger them. And I did an art tip about staggering one time, I think it was last week, where it just helps to have these lines not be carrying down in the same direction, but to stagger. And then down here, same thing, stagger. There we go. That's the first part, all right? Now I'm going to come back the other way. So watch this. I'm going to come back this way. And then I'm going to skip one, do another one, come back this way, skip, do another one, and a skip like that. And now I'm going to do that same staggering thing. So see, if this line goes here, I don't want to continue drawing it up there. So I'm going to bump myself down here and then do another one like that. And I'll come over to this side and bump and do that one, right? Do one here. Alrighty, and do one here. See how this is working? All right, now I've got some space there, so I think I'll put a little one there. And I'll put one maybe here. It's totally up to you. You can make these as dense as you want. I could put one here, put one here. It doesn't matter. We're just making kind of a weaving looking pattern, right? And even if it's not totally regular, that's fine. So down here, I'll do the same thing. I'll do a line here, maybe do a line like this, maybe one like that. And you just go back and forth and you stagger them. Change the width of them here and there, makes it more interesting. Okay? See that? And it starts to look like a woven kind of a basket sort of a feeling. That's what you want. There we go. And you can make this as detailed as you like. You want to keep it really, really simple? Fine. It's not going to make any difference. So that's the first little bit of pattern that we're drawing. Next, you have a pattern on the snake, okay? And the pattern for the snake is going to look like this. I'm going to start with stripes. So I'm just going to put a stripe like this, all right? And then I'm going to look up here. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to do another stripe right about here. Okay, now what I don't want to do is get too far. Actually, I just did it, so shame on me. I want to get a little lower than the tongue. There we go. Because what I want to have happen is I want that tongue to sit on its own and not touch that line. Okay. I'm going to do another one up here. There we go. And then all I do is I color those in. So this one gets colored in. There we go. And this one gets colored in. And you don't have to use the same color that you're drawing with. You could use any color you want. Maybe your Cobra is going to be green and pink, okay? Or maybe it's going to be yellow and purple. Who cares? Maybe it could just be a whole rainbow of colors. It really doesn't matter, folks. So that's the first thing I'm doing is some stripes on my Cobra. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do little bumpy shapes like this. Watch. I'm just going to make some bumps. Wait a few ticks there. Make some more bumps. Okay. Make some bumps over here. Sometimes I do 3 little bumps. Sometimes 1. Sometimes 4. Okay. And then through here, I'm just going to do some lines. And I'm not going to let them touch the tongue. I want that to really stand out. So just a few lines here and there. And last, what I do is I color this area outside the eye. Like that. And that makes him look a little more menacing. A little more menacing. Now you can add a little ground if you want. So that basket is sitting on the ground. And here's a nice little touch. 1, 2, 3. Just some action lines which say, watch out for this animal. Do not mess around with this king cobra. It might bite you. I got a fact for you about king cobras. It's kind of interesting. They are the only species of snake that builds nests. Isn't that interesting? They use leaves and grass and things to build nests, which I think is fascinating. They're also, by the way, the longest venomous snake in the world. The longest one ever found, I think, was about 18 feet long, if I remember my facts. So that is a pretty scary looking animal, but fun to draw, right? All right, so that's a little bit of pattern work for you, a simple set of shapes, but then you can have some patterns and you can really make it interesting. You got that basket with the weaving looking pattern and all kinds of fun stuff. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw up some doodles, okay? I'm gonna hide my snake for a moment. We're gonna have 3 doodles here. And the way this works is I want you to look at them, 1, 2, and 3. And then in the chat, I want you to give me suggestions for what you think you see in these doodles that I could quickly draw. And all you have to do is write the number 1, okay, for the first group. I'm gonna start with 1. So write 1, and then you can write a space, and then tell me what you think you see. It could be an animal, it could be an object, it could be a vehicle, it could be a place, it could be anything. You want to keep it kind of simple, so I don't wind up taking the whole rest of the time drawing just the one thing instead of 3 different things. But we're going to make this work, and I'll read your suggestions, okay? So put the Cobras aside and look at the doodles. We'll go with number 1 first, and we'll jump over to number 2 and then on to number 3. So here we go. We're going to look at number 1. And I'm going to zoom in so we can see it, and I'm going to erase that 1 so we can really concentrate on that doodle. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. Alrighty. Looking for suggestions here, and let's see. Oh, I'm still seeing the chat from earlier. I'm seeing Cobra and Serpent and Snake. I wonder if maybe my chat isn't catching up. Interesting. Oh, maybe Paco, you can help me out if you see any comments, because right now I'm actually not able to see any. A jazz artist. I love that. What was the other one? All right, well, thank goodness I have Paco here to help me, because I heard jazz artist and I just thought that was super cool. So I'm gonna just go for it, okay? Jazz artist, this is the saxophone. There's one hand there, there's another hand there. And look at this, we're gonna go boom, 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 boom. Okay. And there's the music coming out of the saxophone. And we're gonna make this person really cool with his collar up and sunglasses, playing an enormous saxophone, like so. And what do you think? How's that? Put some hair on his arms, why not? There's my saxophonist looking very cool. All right, and that's the fun thing too. Rotate your paper and see how things change. So I'm not able to see the chat, and I apologize for that, but I just can't make it work on my end. So Paco, if you wouldn't mind, for number 2, if people have any suggestions for number 2, folks, go ahead and send those in. Awesome. So I saw a guy with a big nose. So for number 2, I'm going to draw a guy with a big nose. And in the meantime, be thinking about number 3 and throw some chats in for number 3. And I'm going to go ahead and take care of that one after. But guy with a big nose. All right, I see that. I see that. I see that. Here we go. Ready? Now, just how big that nose is, well, watch this. It's going to be comically large, because you might think I might draw the mouth there, but you'd be wrong. I'm going to draw the mouth here. And then I'm going to draw the collar here. And this is how big that nose is going to be. This is going to be absolutely ridiculous. I'm just going to have the nose go straight into the head, like that, because it's funnier that way. And I'm going to have him walking along. By the way, folks, you should play this game with somebody, okay? So what you do is you make a little doodle, pass the paper along to them, and then let them figure out what they can draw in just a few seconds, okay? And I want his nose to be like smelling, because he's always smelling everything from miles away, because he has the largest nose you've ever seen. That is a fun one. I like that. Great suggestion. All right, we're gonna magically slide this guy over. All right, let's see. Oh, I'm getting my chat back now. Bird, lobster, a lobster. Holy cow, that's tough. I don't know if I've ever even drawn a lobster. A bird. I see a beak there. Let's see. Dude with a mohawk. That's pretty good. All right, well, let's see. The challenging one for me would be the lobster because I really don't know how to draw a lobster. Dude with a mohawk would be pretty fun. Bird would be pretty fun. I'm going to go for the bird because I think we need an animal. And the lobster for me, frankly, is just yikes. That's a scary one. Now, the way we go with the bird, though, could be different. Look, like that could be the beak. This could be the beak. Actually, that could be the feathers, right? There's so many different ways to go about this. Which is one of the fun things about this exercise. So, in fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to make this be feathers. See that? And then I'm going to make a long neck. And I think it's going to be like some kind of a crane, okay? Like that. So maybe not what everyone expected, right? And that's also fun. It's fun to do something kind of surprising. Now, some of you might have joined me for the drawing of the ostrich a little while ago, and we learned a really interesting thing about ostriches, that they only have the 2 toes, right? Instead of 3 like a lot of other birds, which I just thought was so cool. Now here we have a bird, and he's sitting there on the ground, and maybe he's by a pond. And there's some water back there. And then on the distance, we have a little boat. And there's a person sitting there, fishing. See, you can just keep this going on and on and on and on and on. Alrighty. Well, that is the doodle game, and I love it, and I think you all should try it, play it at home. Find a parent, find a caregiver, find a sibling, and see what they think, you know? The one thing I love about this game is there's no pressure, okay? What you're doing could be anything at all. You draw what you want, and it only takes a few minutes, and you pass it right back. So let's do an art tip to close things out. And here's the art tip I want to talk about with you today. And that is about necks and heads, okay? Now, a lot of people, what they do is what I call a popsicle neck, all right? A popsicle neck and a popsicle head. And you're drawing a character, right? So let's say I have this person. And you make the mistake of doing this. You draw the head sitting on top of the neck. And to me, that looks like a popsicle, right? Or a little, what do they used to call those gum, had gum in the middle? Tootsie Pop, is that what they were called? But yeah, that's not correct. Here's what you want to do, even if it's just for a cartoon, okay? You want to remember that the human head, okay, if this is our skull that we're looking at, the neck connects higher at the back and lower at the front, okay? So here's the front of your throat, here's the back of the neck. And if you notice, you can just feel your own head, and you'll notice that your neck goes all the way up to about a third of the way or more before it connects with the back of your head. But then down here in the front, you've got your jaw hanging down. All right, so if you think about that, next time you draw a little cartoon character or any kind of character, make sure that you stick the back of the neck a little higher up, okay? And the front a little lower, right? So that you've got this sort of an angle here between the jaw and the back of the head. Alrighty? And that'll make a huge difference in how well you draw your figures. I'll erase that little line there, and you'll see that that is a pro art tip for you there. And like I said, this applies to realistic drawing or to cartoons and comics and all those sorts of things. So give that a try, even if someone's got a little teeny skinny neck, okay? Make sure you pop it up in the back, right? Even if I do this kind of distortion with the head. Same thing. I want to make sure the back of the neck is higher, right? And we've already talked about ears, but ears sit halfway back. That's where they start on the face, right? So remember that as well. So I'm gonna get my back of my neck there, front of my neck a little lower down. Boop. And there's your little tip for today. Hope that's useful for you. And next time you're drawing a head from the side, remember that. Remember how that connects. Alrighty. So everyone, I want to say thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the doodle game. And I'm sorry the chat kind of disappeared for me for a few minutes there in the middle. Sam Peter said, Mr. Owl, that's right. That's what the Tootsie Pop thing was. It was that owl. I remember that. It was an old TV commercial. Anyway, that dates me, doesn't it? Blow pop with gum in the middle. That's what Dana said. Yes, yes, yes. The owl was such a bully. Yeah, I seem to remember that. Yes. All right. So try that game at home. And we're going to have some fun tomorrow because we're going to do more drawing. And we'll definitely do the animal game tomorrow. So I hope you'll join me for that with some fun suggestions. I enjoyed this as usual. I hope you did as well. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll talk to you again very soon. See you next time.